welcome Jennifer Zammit, Vice President of Trademark Property Management and co-owner. Jennifer has been managing condominiums for 22 years, and I would consider her an expert when it comes to condominiums. Trademark Property Management serves more than 60 condominiums from Mississauga to Windsor. Jennifer, I would like to take the time to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming on here. So I'm going to invite you on. Hey, Jennifer, can you hear me this time?
Yes, I can. I can.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
All good in tech land again.
Oh, every time there's always something. There's always something. So
I'm
happy you're here now, and thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule.
You're very welcome.
So,
I'm happy to be here with you. Let's chat about COVID and condos.
Yes, yeah. There's been so much discussion in terms of and mortgages, all that kind of stuff, and we wanted to talk condos. We've got lots of clients that own condos, and there's lots of condos out there. And I feel it's an area that's not discussed that much. So, that's what we're going to do today. So, First off, tell us a bit about Trademark, the areas you service, and how many staff do you have?
Okay, so Trademark has been in business for 14 years now. This is 2020 is our 14th year.
Yeah.
And we're very proud of that. We service from the west end of Mississauga to Corunna, but we're looking at Windsor, but we're not quite there yet. And we do just over 60 condos. We have a variety of different kinds of services that we offer, from full management to financial management, hybrid management, just legislative compliance management. There's all kinds of packages, but the majority that we do is residential condominiums, and we have 13 staff servicing.
That's amazing. So it's you guys really have your hands in all the condos. That's good. So
yeah.
Now let's go to the COVID. Literally everything's been flipped on its back. How have you seen COVID affect the way condos are managed, down to the condominium owner?
So for the most part, everything is pretty much status quo right now in terms of managing the condominiums. I mean, there's many moving parts going on behind the scenes that owners don't typically know about. There's the collection of the condo fees and the payment of the bills, and the board of directors are typically still meeting. Everything's chipping along, but we're just having to do workarounds, primarily using technology. So when we first were informed that we had to go remote, we retooled the company so that we could put all of our staff remotely, because we are deemed an essential service. And we pretty much just replicated all of the services on a different platform now. So the board meetings are carrying on, but they're on online platforms like Zoom and all the various ones that are being offered. The majority of annual general meetings, which, being a condo owner, you would be familiar with that term. That's the annual meeting to conduct the business of the condominium. They've been moved on to primarily online platforms as well. The corporation can pass a bylaw to deal with those things, but I have heard that the government might be giving the condominium industry a pass on meetings this year, in terms of just allowing them to go completely online just to get them done. But for the most part, I would say that communication and maintenance will be the two areas that condo owners will probably feel the most. Because there won't be as many face-to-face meetings, communication will be mostly digital. We're asking owners to move to digital platforms just so that we can make sure that everything gets captured and we don't lose it through the cracks. And there may be slowdowns in maintenance for various reasons, because you have some companies who are essential services, some aren't. You're going to have staffing issues with your contractors. Some will get sick. You'll have condominium owners that have COVID, so we can't send our contractors in until that's all clear. Just challenges like that.
Now, is there a way that you guys are keeping track, or do you have to, if someone has COVID in say a high rise or something
Yeah.
like that? How does that work?
Yes, we are. So high-rise and townhouse, they have a completely different set of issues and challenges that they're going to have. I'd say townhouses, for the most part, you're not going to really feel it too much. In a high-rise, though, if somebody reports to us that they're symptomatic or they have COVID, and we have quite a few of them now, then we just ask that we review the isolation protocols with them. We up the sanitization measurements on those floors. We've already moved into different move in, move out protocols. So you have to book the elevator way in advance, use physical distancing at all times, and there's special sterilizations going on before and after. Moving around the common elements is going to look differently now. In a high-rise building, you've got what they call collision spaces. So those would be like lobbies, underground parking garages, spas like pools, gyms, things like that. It depends on how long this goes, but we may have to start to create schedules for those things. Although I think condominium owners should expect that any wet type spa facilities will open, but they won't be open for use. So they'll be open just to keep the systems running. Pools will open just to keep the systems running, but they're not going to let people swim in them this year. That's what we've heard as an industry. So those are kind of the big changes on a high rise.
Yeah. Now, we've personally had a few clients that own condos, and they rent them out, and which kind of leads into the next question is, how do condominium fees play into COVID-19 scenario where lenders are offering deferred payments? Does it include in a condo fee? Because we've had, for example, owners who rent them out, they're not collecting the rent, but their condo fees are still due. What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting because, we thought at the beginning that was going to be probably challenge number one, but it turns out it hasn't been a big challenge so far. Mind you, we've only had one month where the condo fees have been pulled in kind of the worst part of this. But so just to explain it, I have to preface it by saying that condominiums are creatures of statute. So they're created primarily, a residential condominium is created as a not-for-profit entity. So when that entity creates its budget, because it's not-for-profit, it's based primarily on consumption, whatever the condominium's actually consuming on a monthly, annual basis. And so therefore, when it comes to condominium fees, it's not as easy to just say we're not going to pay the bills, because those bills are covering the lights and the water and the insurance and the staffing, all of the things that the owners are expecting to carry on a day-to-day basis. There's really only two ways you can get money in a condominium. One is from the owners, of course, because that's their biggest pool of funds, and the other is through banks. So if you decide you need to top up or you have a big project coming, those are the two levers you can pull, either owners or banks. So there's really nothing that any condominiums can do right now to defer their condo fees that don't have financial consequences. You could get a short-term loan and top it up, but it's going to have a financial consequence. You can use if you have a small surplus, a lot of condominium board of directors like to operate with a bit of a surplus, so they have a cushion just in case something contingent like this parachutes in, you can use that and it won't have any financial consequence, except you're going to have to rebuild it again so you can continue to enjoy that buffer. You can modify your reserve fund contribution because it's kind of like your savings account. So you're chipping money away every month, but you are mandated by law that you have to do that. So even if you pull back that kind of savings account contribution, you have to make it up on the other side. So there's no real way you can defer it. Now, what we're telling the owners, like we have had a couple of owners that have situations. Typically, when you're in a collection situation at a condominium, because the condo fee and the hierarchy takes precedent over a mortgage payment, we're recommending that the owners talk to their lenders, their mortgage lenders, and if they're going to defer their mortgage, have the lender pay the condo fee too, top it up and put it on the end payment of your mortgage, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, because that's probably about the cheapest way to do it. 9 times out of 10 in a collection situation with the big 5 banks, if you are in arrears in your condo fee, the mortgage company doesn't want to lose their position, so they'll swoop in and pay the condo fee.
Isn't that interesting? That's a great tip. Now, are you seeing more and more people being unable to make those condo payments?
Not yet.
Okay.
Mind you, like I said, we've only really had one payment in the real heat of it.
Yeah.
But I think like the government has cast the financial nets pretty wide.
Yeah.
And for the most part have caught the majority of it. Hopefully. We may see more who are unable to pay in the coming months, and we're certainly willing to work with whoever, you know, we'll talk to them and see what kind of payment plans we can get for them. But yeah, people have to remember it's not just a pause, it's a deferral, and it has to be paid back.
Yeah, yeah, which is important because, you know, we've talked to a lot of people and they think, oh, you don't have to, with the mortgage, it just goes away. Well, that's not the case.
No.
You know, it has to be paid. So
Yeah, and the
now,
banks never do anything for free.
no,
Right?
that's true. That's true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, what would you say the biggest changes condominium owners are going to notice due to the COVID-19 situation? And do you think it's going to be temporary or permanent moving forward?
I think the biggest changes that people are going to see will be, again, how they move around in the common area of the condo. I think the property managers and boards of directors are going to have to take a serious look at shelter-in-place protocols and processes and have those policies put into the governing documents so they can be enacted quickly should something like this ever happen again and we don't have a lot of advance notice like we did in this one. But it's a really good time to look at all your processes and sharpen them all up and get them settled in case it happens again. I think for any business, for, you know, retooling your computers, getting yourself ready to go from A to B quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we've had a question come in from Bev, which I think kind of ties into this. So, you know, what about older people walking the halls? And then, you know, should do that, you know, they need to move with a smiley face. So what about that? Like walking the halls, you know, trying to maintain that social distance. Are you seeing anything, you know, be put in place? And, you know, I think it would specifically apply to a high-rise condo where you have a common area of a hallway, lobby, that type of thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and it is a common thing for the elderly to go out and walk in the halls just to get not fresh air, but to get some exercise. Right now, since we're being warned strongly to practice strong physical distancing, we've been telling the people to stay in your unit, stay out of the hallways for now, just because we can't control who's walking in the hallways 100% of the time, and we can't guarantee a 6-foot distance between anybody passing in a hallway. So right now, we have to say just stay in your unit, but as time passes, we'll probably have to start creating schedules so that people can get out, walk in their hallway, and not be afraid they're going to run into the building manager who might be coming down. And if anybody's going to pick up viruses or anything else, it will be the building manager. So protecting them from those kinds of high impact, high risk people.
Yeah.
Schedules, that's how we'll do it. Schedules on the elevators, schedules for any common areas except the underground parking garages. We won't be able to do that.
Yeah. Wow. It's really, it's incredible to think the way it's changing everything, right down to that.
Yeah, right now we're doing a lot of policy writing, policy
Mhm.
procedures, protocols, getting them into place. And I think it's a good time for any business to get these, like, hone your skills on these, because I don't think this is the last time we're going to see this.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question we have here is, what is the best advice you'd give condominium owners right now to help them navigate these new systems?
Probably the best piece of advice I would give them is be patient. This too shall pass. It will
Yeah.
pass, and this is everybody's first kick at the can with it. So,
Yeah.
the property managers that I know are working as hard as they can to try and keep everything together and just roll with the punches. Make sure that you communicate, keep in touch with your property manager, let them know if you have any issues. But if you see anything that comes up that you think ought to be a consideration for the board of directors or the property management, while they're creating policies moving forward in the best interest of the owners, like, by all means, talk to us, because we're all
Yeah.
ears right now.
Yeah. Now's the time. Now's the time.
Yeah. But
Um,
be patient, just like all of us, right, James? Like, we're
yeah.
all in all these different industries. We just have to be patient, because
Exactly.
it's unprecedented. We don't have answers for everything. We're kind of going by the seat of our pants and doing the best we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
But
Buffy
stay
just sent in a
home.
question. Yeah.
Stay home.
Exactly. Yeah. We've got a question here from Buffy. Hey, Buffy, thanks for tuning in. She's asking, have most condos limited their elevator capacity?
They Yes, not capacity, but the distancing. So you're supposed to stay 6 feet from one another. They have said if you can't stay 6 feet from one another, then one should face the wall while the other faces the door, while the other faces another wall. I would say don't take the chance. Wait till another cab comes and go yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
my recommendation. That's where you're going to be tightest squeezed in with people,
Yeah.
elevators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, concern, I think, when it comes to an elevator, the sanitization of the buttons, people piling on, all that stuff. It's a great
Yeah.
question. Thank you, Buffy.
You've got your handicap door buttons, your elevator buttons, your buzzer, the annunciator panels. Use a tissue for all of those things, right? Create a
Mhm.
barrier between your hand and those buttons. Although they are being sterilized much more frequently. Just, you can't be too careful right now, because we
Yeah.
just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on a townhouse, you drive into your garage typically, or your driveway, and you just go in your house as normal. It's just like living in a house. But, the collision areas on a townhouse would be mailbox areas, gazebos, things like that, because the weather's not nice yet. We don't have people standing around park areas or bench. But when the weather does become nice, keep your social distancing strong until they tell
Yeah.
us otherwise.
Yeah.
It's the only thing we know to tell you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. Is there anything that we've missed, Jennifer, that you think's important that we put out there? We covered
No,
everything?
I think, just like everybody else, where everybody's adapting, pivoting, uh, rolling with the punches, and
Yeah.
just, again, be patient with everybody as they tool up for this. And the most important thing is to look after yourself and stay safe. Stay home right now until they tell us otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Well, Jennifer, I cannot thank you enough for your time today and coming on, under your busy schedule, to provide some insight from your area on this. So thank you.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. It was nice to
Yeah,
see you, James. My
great.
best
Thank
to
you.
Amanda.
I will. I will. And if anyone has any questions after viewing this, feel free to send them in, and we can gladly get them to Jennifer to answer. So thank you to everyone, and thank you, Jennifer. You have a great day and stay safe.
You're very welcome. Take care.
Okay. Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now.
See you later. Bye bye.